Yeah, YouTubers, Tasman here, bringing you another episode of Learn JavaScript with Foundry VTT. And in our last episode, we went over functions. And once again, I don't know, the powers that be do not want me to be recording these because I recorded 2 episodes going over what we're going to go over right now. And one of them had sound, one of them didn't have sound. Don't know how that happened because I recorded them back to back, but I just did test my audio and it seems to be working. I look at the little sound meter and it is showing that it is bouncing up and down, so hopefully we have sound. As you can see, we're in Foundry version 10, build 285. We're in the D&D system 202. And we only have our 2 active modules, which are, drumroll please, Ace Library and Macro Editor. And just to remind you, Ace Library is a requirement of Macro Editor. It's what makes it so that it has the highlighting and all that fun stuff. All right, so let's go ahead and begin again with our thing. All right, so we're going to go back into functions. And I've went and I believe I've deleted all the stuff that we had in here, but I do have my notes still, which is good. Alright, so we're going to hit F12 to get our little guy here, and unfortunately that's going to make it so we can't. Alright, close this real quick. Let me make this just a little bit smaller. Now we should be able to hit F12. There we go. All right, so what we're going to talk about in the next 2 episodes, apparently, because to get the time I want, basically it's going to be 2 episodes, is function expressions. So we're going to do function function expressions. These are also known as anonymous functions. So we're going to type that ANONYMOUS functions. So now to explain this, anonymous functions are basically a function without a name. But with our current knowledge, it's really hard to kind of separate any of the real functionality between a function expression and a regular function. And let me just show you what I mean here. So what we're going to do is we're going to, one second, let me pull up my note. Here we go. What we're going to do is we're going to create a regular function. So you can see it's a complex function, has parameters that will return, and so what we're going to do is create it, function. So we have function to say we're going to declare a function. We have the name, we're going to call this say hello, and we're going to have it take on, let's have it take on 4 parameters. So we're going to have name, because it's going to expect you to give it name. We're not going to give any default parameters. Now, for D&D, we're also going to do class. However, if we do class like this, class is actually a keyword for classes, so we can't do that. So we're going to do CLS instead. And let's do race and level. So these are the parameters that it will want, and all it's going to do is going to return. It's not going to do a console log here, but it's going to return a message or a sentence or a string. I think that was the word I was actually looking for. So we're going to return, and we're going to use our string literal with the little ticks so that we can actually add in our different things. So we're going to say here string that. We're going to have 4 of these in all. So let's just go ahead and add them all in. So these will be for our variables, so they print inside. And we're going to have name be first. Whoops. A name. We have name. And then let's do the level. My goodness, I cannot spell. Level. Well, I can't type or spell. And then we'll do class. And we will do race. Or no, let's do, I don't want to do it. Let's do race first. Because usually you don't say, I'm a wizard high elf. You would say, I'm a high elf wizard or something, right? So let's do our race. And then class. So one thing I'd like to point out here, and I don't remember if I've pointed it out, but it doesn't care about, whoa, that is RA. It doesn't care about the order that we call things in. These are just variables that are created within the scope of the function, and they're accessible in any order. There's no kind of order to them. So that is our strings that we're putting in our string literal. And now let's see, so name would be whoever is, or actually let's say will be Playing playing a Level, a level, so it'd be like a level, what, 3 maybe? 3, a level 3. I don't think we need any other things between those. And hit period. And let's go ahead and console log it. So we're going to do console.log and our message here. So we're going to say sayhello, and we're going to pass in T. Oh, we need these all in quotes, so I'm going to go ahead and just do quote space comma quote comma space quote comma, and we said level 3, might as well be level 3. So T for ZZ, M for NN, and our second one is class, so we're going to say HIGHELF, and we'll do wizard. Alright, so here we have a nice little function that we're just going to say hello, and it's going to take our parameters we're sending in, and it's going to form a sentence, and then it's going to put it into the console log. So let's go verify this works. It does not work because, oh, I know why it's not working. I did this different. This is an uppercase H. This is a lowercase h. There we go. Let's try this once more. And there we go. Tasman will be playing a level 3. Whoops, I did them wrong anyway. Wizard High Elf. Didn't I just say? Yeah. High Elf. This is. Wait, did I do that wrong? A level 3 race is. Oh yeah, I'm not thinking right. So yeah, race, and then wizard, and then this. It doesn't matter. I'm not gonna mess with this right now. So now what I want to show you is the difference between this regular function that we just created and what am I thinking? Between this function that we just created and a function expression. And here it is. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to delete this. We're going to go ahead and put an equals here. And we're going to put the function that we had, function, instead of being at the very beginning, funct function. And then, of course, because this is a variable, we need to make it a const or a var or a let. But we're going to do a const, and that's it. Basically, all that happened was we replaced the function, put it in here. So technically now you can see this is a nameless function. So if we go look at our other functions and we ignore this part right here, it doesn't have a name. That's it. That is now a function expression. And let's just do this because this is gonna bug me no matter what. So Control X, delete, and comma space V. That will fix it. So if we, I didn't mean to hit save. If we run this, you'll see it functions exactly the same. There you go. Tasman will be playing a level 3 high elf wizard. And as you can see, it's identical to the function. Actually has a little bit more that we're typing to do it. Now, later on, we might get into where an anonymous function, or this actually is the better way to do it. And that would probably be if we get in DCOM and we're talking about having events that are being listened to, and if you know, the mouse clicks on a button on the page, then it fires off an anonymous function. But as far as what we've learned so far, this really is not not that special. So you can feel free to use anonymous, the function expression or regular expression as we're, you know, continuing on. Swap between them just so you kind of get used to both of them. They do have their usefulness, and we will be going over that later on. So let's go ahead and create an actual, well, let's do a function expression using our roller stuff. So what I was thinking we're going to do is up here we have a rolling dice, rolling a single dice that's D100, D, you know, whatever we're telling it we want to roll. Well, other times you might want to roll multiple of the same dice. So we're going to create a quick little function expression called roller that does just that. So we're going to do const because we're creating a variable, so we need to make it either a const or a let or whatever. It doesn't actually change, so we're making it a constant. And we're going to call it roller because I don't think we've used roller up here, right? Just roll dice and roll D20 and all that fun stuff. So we're going to have one here called roller, and it is a function expression, so function, and it will basically, there's the outline of our function expression. Now let's go add in the stuff. So as the most common die you roll in D&D is the D20, we are going to set some default values so that if nothing is passed, it will automatically do that. So first we want to know the quantity of dice. So we're going to do QTY for quantity, and we're going to set the default to 1 because once again, generally you're rolling a single D20, and then other times you'll roll other types of dice. So we want it to always default to a single D20. So speaking of which, we're going to say how many sides, SIDES, and the sided of the dice is going to be a 20. So there we go. If we come into here now, we're going to want to keep track. So if we're going to have a D20 being rolled multiple times, we might want to keep track of the value of each of those rolls, and then we want to keep the total of all the rolls combined. So we're going to keep one, we're going to do a let total, and we're going to start it with 0. So we're going to have a tracker of our total, and it's going to start at 0. We're also going to keep track of the individual roll, just why we actually roll it. We don't really care. Once it's rolled, we don't really care. So we're going to do let roll. Oops, roll. Like so. And we don't need to set that to anything. Undefined is fine because the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to set it. So the next thing we want to do, because we're rolling a dice and we're rolling multiple dice, we want to set up a loop that will fire off at least once. Because we know the quantity or how many times we want to roll, a for loop is optional for this, or optimal for this, not optional. It's optional too, I guess. So we're going to use a for loop, and we're going to say for let I equal, and we'll set it to 1 because there's at least going to be one roll. And then we're going to say I is less than, that's not the less than or equal to the quantity. Oops. Now the reason we're doing the equal to part is so it will at least go once, because if we set this to 1 and there's only a 1 roll, it's not actually going to run because it meets the requirement. But if it's less than and equal to, it will actually do its thing. And then we're going to increment I with I++. And there we go. There's our for statement. So next we will want to just go grab our roller up here. We can just use this exact same one, minus the little thing at the end there, the little semicolon. And we're going to say roll equals, and we say math for random sides. We call it sides, so we're all good. And I guess we did want that semicolon after all. And then finally, what we want to do is each time we roll, we want to go ahead and increment or add that into our current total. So we're going to do that doing TOTAL. And if you remember, you can do that either saying total equals TOTAL plus one plus roll, or we can shorthand it by just saying plus equals, which is the same thing as saying total plus total equals roll. So there is that. And then because we're going to go and reset roll to some other value, let's just go ahead and output to the user what this roll was. So let's do console.log, and we're going to want to say what roll it is. So we're going to do roll. Actually, you know what? I want to do this with my string literal. So I'm going to do roll because I want to keep a number on here. And then we'll just do a number, a pound symbol, and we'll do string this, I, this, like so, and then comma and the actual roll. Now we could also put the roll in here, but a kind of cool thing when you don't is this will be purple. So it will actually represent a actual number. Kind of helps it stick out a little bit, but you could do it either way. You could also stick in another, you know, little $sign at the squiggly curly brace and then roll inside there and then not have to worry about this. But I kind of like to have that purple. It just helps it stand out a little. All right, so this is our roller function. And now let's go ahead and call said roller function. So let's roll it. Let's say our level 3, well, we're going to have to be a level 20 wizard because we're going to cast a 9th level fireball. So let's do console console.log, and we will just, I'm just going to do total so we can see what the total is. TOTAL, total, comma, and then ROLLER. So a 9th level fireball is 14 dice. So that's our quantity, and they're 6-sided dice. And that will do. And right after he does that, he's going to fire off a 9th level magic missile. Even though he only gets one 9th level slot, somehow maybe he has a bring a spell storing that has up to 9th level. And he's going to 9th level magic missile will be 11 darts, and it's a 4-sided dice. Now one thing we can actually do here, and like I think I've said this, I don't know if it was in one of the recordings that didn't work out, but one thing we can actually Okay, so this is not in any shape, way, or form the most efficient way of doing this. It's a good way with the knowledge we have, but I mean, if we go look in the actual Foundry and go into the chat, it has a much more complex way of rolling. You can just type /r space, 11D4 plus, 11, because each missile has its own. We're going to kind of simulate that by putting in our 11 right here. So if we go run this now, you'll actually see here is our fireball. We've rolled 14d6. These are the values of the rolls, and I messed something up here. We're getting undefined. Oh, because I'm not returning anything. We need to, after all this, do RET. We need to return our total. Now, we definitely want to return our total after we've done everything else, because once we do this, the whole function exits. So we want to make sure we've done all our for loop, which is why we put it outside. All right, let's do this once again and not get undefines. There we go. So here's our rolls on our fireball, 14d6. We rolled 55. Not so good. And here's our d4 rolls for our, those are not very good at all, 37 total damage. So if we add these all up, it will be 11 less than that, because then it added the 11 to the very end. Now, just to demonstrate, and you've probably seen this unless you just use a die roller inside of Foundry, but doing that exact same thing in Foundry, because it has a very complex functions and a die object, or whatever you want to call it, we could do /r and do 11d4 plus 11, and this will do the exact same thing, showing you all the dice that were rolled, the total, and as you can see, this is 25 plus 11, 36. So not what we're writing, not very efficient in any shape, way, or form. Don't think we're writing code that is the best. I mean, this is using regular expressions, which could be an entire topic and might end up being in and of itself, because they're very complex, and it is pretty complex, I guess. So I think we're going to go ahead and end it here. We're at around 23-ish minutes, and that seems like a decent stopping point. And I covered what I wanted to cover in this episode so far. We are going to do a back-to-back, so I am going to record a second episode talking more about function expressions, and actually we're going to be using lots of the different things. We're going to be using nested ifs. We're going to be using multiple returns to talk about those. We're going to have functions within functions and stuff like that. So this is it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you understood it. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to leave a thumbs up down below. Aside from that, comment, like, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. Oh, click the notification bell. Check out my Discord and my other channels. And don't forget to tell other people about my channel. Come check it out. They like what they see, they can sub. We grow the channel. And that is it, my friends. Until next time, I'll be seeing you later. Bye.